birthday, good night. The sun was rising over the deep dark forest. Inside a cozy cave there lived three little dragons. They were talking with their friend, the Good Night. "We have a problem," said the first dragon. "We need to get a birthday gift," said the second dragon. "For someone very special," said the third dragon. "But we don't have any money. What can we do?" asked all three dragons. The Good Night thought and thought. "Aha!" he said. "Methinks I know. The most special gifts do not come from a store. They come from our hearts and our hands. Nothing more," said the Good Night. "What does that mean?" asked all three dragons. "The best gifts are the ones we make ourselves," said the Good Night. "Will you help us, please?" asked the dragons. The Good Night did not know what to think. But he was a good Night. "Come with me," he said. The Good Night hitched up the cart. The dragons got in. He jumped on his horse. Clippity-clap, clippity-clap. They went through the deep dark forest to the Good Night's crumbly-tumbly tower. "We will make a cake," said the Good Night. "Everybody loves cake." In the Good Night's kitchen, the work began. The dragons made a double layer, double chocolate, double salt cake with a sparkly sprinkle on top. At least they tried to. But three little dragons in one little kitchen can make one big mess. "I don't believe this," said the Good Night. There was flour on the ceiling, sugar on the chairs, cake batter on the floor, and sprinkles everywhere. "This is a wreck," cried the Good Night. He got the clean-up buckets and soapy soap suds. He got the brooms and brushes. The dragons scrubbed the ceiling. Scrubby, scrubby, scrubby. The dragons swept the floor. Swish, swish, swish. They even washed the seats of the chairs. Brush, brush, brush. They cleaned until the little kitchen was clean. "We still have a problem," said the dragons. "We still don't have a birthday gift for someone very special." And they began to cry. Drippy, droppy dragon tears. The Good Night did not know what to think, but he was a Good Night. So he came up with a new idea. "Don't cry, good dragons," said the Good Night. "We will make a birthday card. Everybody loves birthday cards." In the Good Night study, the work began. The little dragons made a giant pop-up birthday card with shimmery, glimmery rainbows. At least they tried to. But three little dragons in one little study can make one big mess. "I don't believe this," cried the Good Night. There was paint on the ceilings, glue on the chairs, paper on the floor and glitter everywhere. And the pop-up card was glued shut. "This is a ruin!" cried the Goodnight. He got the cleanup buckets and soapy soap suds. He got the brooms and brushes. The dragons scrubbed the ceiling, scrubby, scrubby, scrubby. The dragons swept the floor, swish, swish, swish. They even washed the seats of the chairs, brush, brush, brush. They cleaned until the study was clean. "We still don't have a birthday gift for someone very special," said the dragons, and they began to cry. Drippy, droppy dragon tears. The Goodnight did not know what to think, but he was a good knight, and he got another good idea. "We will put on a magic show. Everybody loves magic," he said. In the Goodnight's sitting room, the work began. The dragons planned a flashy, splashy magic show with balloon animals, bright colored streamers, and birds that flew away. At least they tried to. But three little dragons in one little sitting room can make one big mess. "I don't believe this," cried the Goodnight. There were feathers on the ceiling, streamers on the chairs, bits of papers on the floor, and popped balloons everywhere. "This is a disaster," he cried. He got the cleanup buckets and soapy soap suds. He got the brooms and brushes. The dragons scrubbed the ceiling, scrubby, scrubby, scrubby. The dragons swept the floor, swish, swish, swish. They even washed seats of the chairs, brusher, brusher, brusher. They cleaned until the sitting room was clean. The Goodnight sat down at his little kitchen table. It was very late. He was very tired. The clock struck midnight. "Oh no!" cried the little dragons. "Now it is too late." The dragons began to cry. Drippy, droppy dragon tears. "Today was your birthday. We wanted the birthday gift for you." "Now it is too late," said the dragons. The Goodnight looked at his calendar. Yes, indeed it was his birthday. He began to smile. Then he giggled and laughed. "You have given me the best gift there is," he said. The dragons did not know what to think. "We did not make a cake or a card or a magic show. We only made big fat messes," they said. "You made something else. You made me laugh," said the Goodnight. "The gift of laughter is the best gift there is." The dragons thought of the big fat messes. They began to smile. They giggled and laughed. They laughed until the drippy, droppy dragon tears were all gone. "Yes, little dragons, I will never forget this day," said the Goodnight. Then the Goodnight and the three little dragons ate the burnt cake. The Goodnight opened his sticky, gluey card. The dragons did a magic trick. Then the dragons began to sing, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, good night. Happy birthday to you." "Thank you, good dragons," said the Goodnight. "It was a good birthday." Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe.